It's time to program.
Exactly. Okay, yeah, it's recording now. So I'll send you a link after our call so you can review it if you want.
All right, cool, perfect.
All right. So Kensley, tell me why you scheduled a call with me.
So, so just to clarify, right? This is in regards to the astro, like being able to astral project and correct, like transcend blockages through astral projection, right?
Yeah, through lucid dreaming, but you can
Lucid
also
Dream,
use
right.
astral projection as well. It's
Okay.
similar.
So yeah, bro. So I'll be completely honest. Like me, I'm a person who I'm very motivated to grow. Because like if we're
Hmm.
not growing, we're dying. So I'm in a constant. Like I've gotten to a point where I'm just like I've kind of like trained my brain to always constantly be seeking information to allow myself to elevate to new levels.
Right.
And my current life right now, I've done a lot of work on myself. Transcended a lot of blockages, but I feel like right now, I am in a place where I am using some tools that have been very beneficial. But at the same time, too, I feel like, tapping into this spiritual aspect of things, is going to be even more beneficial,
Right.
for my growth. And I know that through, lucid dreaming, I know like we're able to access more without the restrictions of our physical body. So therefore, like I like lucid dreaming and astral projection has been something that's been fascinating to me, you know, for a while, you know.
Hmm.
So it's something that I wanted to explore even deeper, not only just to like have fun and like visualize all the things that I want to create in my life, but to
Right.
also utilize it in a productive manner to, allow myself to grow to higher levels, you know. So that's the main reason why I scheduled the call today. And I was very interested in hearing more about you, what you do, how it's been helping other individuals, and yeah, and just like I'm very open minded to it.
Okay, great. That's great to hear. So why don't you tell me a little bit about what you do for work?
So for work, I'm a life insurance agent. I work in
Hmm.
I have a like I'm licensed in New York and New Jersey. So I'm currently doing that right now, full time.
Hmm.
And there's other things that I'm involved in, but that's my main focus right now is just life insurance.
Okay. And how much do you make per month doing that?
So per month, I would say about right now I would say four, around like
Hmm.
four. Yeah.
And what's your ideal income?
My ideal income is to be making $60,000 a month.
60K a month. Okay. And do you have a method laid out of how you're going to accomplish this?
So it's very attainable through the method that I'm using right now through life insurance because it's just
Hmm.
like the way the company is structured, you're able to purchase leads. And these leads that you're purchasing are from individuals who reached out and said like, all right, cool, I potentially need help. They at one point they reached out to get help. Whether that be a 1 month old lead, 2 month old lead, 3 month old lead, whether it's like a more current lead, a more active lead, they
Hmm.
reached out at one point to get that information. So all I'm doing is, following back up with them in regards to their request and fulfilling that request. Giving
Right.
them the information that they need, guiding them throughout the whole entire process, educating them as well too, and doing right by them. So I know that, as long as I'm in a pure space and I'm not operating from a selfish foundation, then I could definitely, reach that goal. And I feel like not only is it work ethic, but it's also a change in mindset. Because the
Exactly.
mindset has to come first. The inner work has to be done first in order for the outer work to reflect that. You
Yeah,
know.
you got it.
So, so yeah, man. So that's my method right now. And like, there's other things as in regards to because I also do have experience in trading, and trading in the foreign
Hmm.
exchange markets. So right now, there's these prop firms that are giving funding to people who could pass a challenge, a two-phase challenge. First phase of the challenge, you have to make 10% on whatever account size that you want. Second phase, you have to make half of that. Half of that. So you have to make 5%. So therefore, after you pass those two phases, then you could go ahead and get the funding. And then my method about acquiring the funds is by setting up a bot that's going to automate that whole entire process to generate passive income for me there. And then there's also like Turo and Airbnb that I want to outsource and like have someone get that established for me. And I would just provide the funding for it and have someone work for me on my behalf to get those things running, give them a percentage, but then afterwards also start bringing in passive income with that. So
Hmm.
with all those three methods right there, I definitely know making 60,000 a month is very attainable. And it's just about, overcoming the blockages that I have within me, you know? That's
Hmm.
really all it is. Cause it's just like the path is already laid out. It's just that I have to become aware of that path and, follow that path.
Yeah. How long have you been doing life insurance?
So life insurance, I would say about like coming up on a year.
A year. And did you start off at 4K a month or did you grow into that?
No, so I had to grow into that because, like at first I had a lot of blockages, early on in regards to doing life insurance because, it was the first time like people always told me like, oh, you'd be great at sales, you'd be great at sales. So then now like I got into it and hearing people tell me that I'd be great at sales on the inside, I didn't really feel it. So I
Right.
had to overcome that and like get to a point where I actually believed it and took actions that aligned with that belief to start generating some results. And even now like I feel like I'm still like a novice within the space simply because I'm still making $4,000 a month. There's people who have gotten into it and made 10,000, $20,000 their first month helping 20
Hmm.
families, 10 to 20 families. So with me, like I still feel like I'm experiencing these blockages and going through certain things mentally that are holding me back, and refraining me from like reaching that next level.
Right. Yeah. Important thing to know is like first thing you're addressing the problem, you realize that you do have some mental blocks that are holding you back.
Mhm.
Second thing I would mention is I at all costs try not to compare yourself to others. There's like 15-year-olds making 1 million a month right now. So, like there's no reason to like try to compare yourself to others. Just focus on internally where you're at now, where you want to go. And the best way I've ever helped anybody do it, and me personally, is if you can believe that you've already achieved your goal and live in that end.
Yeah.
So it's like you carry yourself the way a person who makes 60K per month carries themselves. You wear the clothes, you dress well or however you want to dress
Mhm.
every day when you go to work, and believe you're already the person you want to be. Because what that does is your subconscious programming will start to realign with that new belief system because your subconscious doesn't know the difference between reality and fiction, right? So
Fact.
whatever narrative you feed it, it will accept it as its now truth.
Mhm. That's
And that just takes time of consistent daily effort, right?
mhm.
So like for my students, I recommend minimum 10 to 30 minutes per day to be a consistent lucid dreamer.
Mhm.
And that's like the minimum amount of time to just like accept that into your subconscious as a new belief system.
That you
And then
can.
yeah, and then once you're a consistent lucid dreamer, that's you have access to your subconscious. Some people lucid dream 3 to 5 times per week. You
Mhm.
could theoretically do it every day if you choose to.
Yeah.
um and that's the kind of thing. It's going into your mind, figuring out what these mental blocks are, getting closure from them if there's like some type of trauma you haven't dealt with or some like internal programming that was fed to you at an early age.
Mhm.
That's usually the two biggest causes.
Yeah.
And then once you recognize that, get closure from it, you can now set a new belief system.
Mhm.
um
So,
and a easy thing to do in the waking world, or what we call this base reality, it's simple meditation techniques.
well,
If you were
yeah.
in a quieter area, I could lead you through one, or I can send you a video of
Cut
how to
out,
do it
cut out
later.
for a second.
Yeah. So well, where did it cut out for you?
Um, the last thing that you just said, that was the only thing that I heard, but prior to that, I didn't really hear like the last 20, 15 seconds, I would say.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
that's all right.
You said
Uh
you're gonna send me something. You can
yeah,
send.
I'll send you if you can't get in a quiet area now, I normally like run through a quick meditation, but I'll send you a meditation how to do it later.
That's awesome.
So basically what it does is it's a dream life visualization meditation where
Mhm.
you imagine yourself uh a day after you've achieved all your goals, right? You're making the income you want to make, you're living in the place you want to live, you're doing the work you really care about and are passionate about, right?
Yeah.
So like I'll send you a link to that,
Okay.
to how to do it later, if you need. And it shouldn't take more than like 10-20 minutes, because like all it's doing is clarifying your goals, right? Like a lot of people think, I want this amount of money but they never like specify like what specifically are you going to use that for? Like why do you need that specific amount? Is
Yeah.
there like a specific house you want? How much does that cost? Is there a specific car you want? How much does that cost? Do you have family to take care of? Your food bill? Like really getting detailed of what you're actually going to use that money for, because the more detailed you get of how you're going to apply it, the faster it will come in, because now that's a real need. It's no longer just a fairy tale number. Hey, 60K sounds nice, so I want that. It's now, I need this specific amount for this specific reason, and this is how I'm going to achieve that.
Yeah.
Right. And when you set it up like that and you give time allocations and deadlines, you prep your brain for accepting that as, this is now my reality, and I'm taking the daily action steps to achieve that. Because like for your 60K per month goal, how many families is that helping per month?
So 60K, that's 60 families.
60 new families every month, or is it a recurring model?
So it would be 60 new families each and every single month. But then also too, another thing that I factor into that is like the people that I also, bring into the company, bring into the business, who also want to, do life insurance, and I'll be making overrides off of them. So therefore I wouldn't have to, potentially do 60 families each and every single month. Soon the overrides will allow me to, supplement that income instead of me going out and actively doing it myself.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
Well, let's start off with that 60 families per month goal, right?
mhm.
So that's very simply, that's 2 families per day, right?
Yeah.
You currently are making 4K a month, so you're helping 4 families per month. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
How many families are you reaching out to have helping 4 families per month?
So it's about like I would say 150.
150 people you reach out to get 4 families, yeah?
Yeah. But then
So
now, like, since I'm still, because I was very inconsistent at first. So that
uh-huh.
like I'm more so recently getting a little bit more serious with it. That's why I've been able to like do 4 families a month. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm also like still perfecting the sales process, understanding the psychology behind it, and also understanding how to handle rejection as well too. So,
Yeah.
those are like all different factors that I'm still like, working on and perfecting so that I can increase, my closing ratio. Instead of doing 4 families out of 150, now it's, 10 to 20 families out of 150, which would be a significant difference,
Yeah.
you know?
So let's just keep with the numbers you're at right now, right? So you're at 150 families for 4, and you think you can get that 150 to 10 to 20, yeah?
Yeah.
So you just have to double the performance you're doing now, which
Mhm.
isn't hard, right? Probably there's a few tweaks you can do about objection handling. Um, you know, uh, you could theoretically land every one of the 150, right? If you just had the right mindset and you knew you could provide value to them.
Yeah.
But so like the world's your oyster. There's should be no limitations in that standpoint. For your own practical concerns, because you've created that mental block of, it takes me 150 families to get 4. That's the first mental barrier you're gonna have to overcome. But like, let's just stick with that number, just strictly for this simple math equation, right?
Yeah.
So that means you have to, on average, reach out to 36 families for every 1 family closed, right?
Say that
And
again. Okay.
you said you have to reach out to the ratio is 36 families for every 1 family that you're helping, right? So you talk to 36 people, and 1 out of those 36 you can help.
Yeah.
You'll probably get that number down to 1 out of 10, but let's say it's like 1 out of 36 right now, okay? Because that's where you are specifically right now.
Yeah.
So you said you needed 2 families per day to hit your 60K per month goal. So with your current ability, if it didn't change at all, to reach your goal right now, all you have to do is reach out to 72 families per day. Now think about that. That's that might not even be 72 calls. That might be just 72 outreaches, right?
Yeah.
So normally the baseline for business outreach, when you're doing it manually, or when you're doing paid ads, it's you do a minimum of 100 per day, right? So your 72 outreaches is even less than that to hit your goal. So imagine you're doing 100 per day, 100 outreaches per day. You set a goal every day. I'm going to do 100. I'm not going to waste my time on anything else. I'm not going to do entertainment. I'm going to reach out to 100 families per day, and I'm going to land at least 2 of them. at least 2. So every day I'm gonna reach out to 100 families, provide as much value as I can. Even if they don't sign up with me, I'm just gonna help them out. And 2 families are definitely gonna sign up with me every single day. And if you set that as your mindset, as your intention of a daily thing, you have no other things in your day that you're doing. This is your one primary focus. I guarantee you, you'll do that every day.
Okay.
So what you want to do is like get sticky notes, get a journal, a pad and paper, have it in front of your face. It's 100 today, 2 families closed, and you have that in front of your face when you wake up, in front of your face when you go to sleep, in front of your face at your workstation, and you do that every day. If you look at it and you count, you literally go, okay, 1 family reached out to, 2 family reached out, and you realize, hey, it's I can reach out to 100 people in less than maybe an hour or 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's only taking an hour or 2 of work, and I'm reaching my 60K per month goal from just an hour or 2 of DMing people, plus the time speaking to them. It's like, okay, that sounds pretty good. So I'm making a 60K per month from 12 hours extra of work a week. That sounds pretty nice.
Solid.
So that's how you want to like start reframing your goals, right? Yeah, because everything can be broken down into very systematic action steps. And the bonus, the cherry on top, is the lucid dreaming of teaching you how to remove any current mental blocks you have, so you can just excel even faster.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, most people, especially people in the spiritual community, they're great on their mindset, their thoughts and beliefs. The one thing they always forget to do is take the action.
That exactly.
And, yeah,
I made a post about that the other yesterday actually. I said the dream is free, but the hustle comes with a price. And it's just like for a while that type of mindset kept me broke. Just like focusing only on the mindset, but then afterwards forgetting that the action is also required. Like imagine I made an analogy on my on the under the post, and I said like, all right, cool. Let's say you go to Amazon, right? And you see an item that you want and you desire, and you know you want it, but then afterwards you're like, all right, cool. Just by thinking, you think it's gonna come to you. It's not how it's gonna work. You're gonna have to, take some actions, put your credit card in, get the money first, put your credit card in, and press that button to order it. So that's the action that you have to take to bring in your desires. So it's not just gonna happen off of you just sitting there and just dreaming about it. It's not gonna work like that. So it's just a backwards mindset to just folk. It's like a missing piece. People just think especially because of things like The Secret. It has a lot of great information, but it gets people into thinking that like one thing that I always tell people: the law of attraction is the law of action. You have to take action, in order to attract things that you want at the end of the day. Period.
Exactly. But you're completely right, because the mindset is great, and that's the fundamental step. Like you won't be able to do anything if you're depressed, right? So you wouldn't be able to take action anyways. So getting the mindset straight first is perfect, but people stop there. And there's plenty of very wealthy and successful people who are miserable and depressed because they only focused on the action. They didn't focus on the mindset at all. But that shows you that how important the action is, right? And there's that old saying, would you rather be smiling in a Honda or crying in a Lamborghini? Neither. It's smiling in a Lamborghini because you did the mindset and you took the action.
Exactly.
So you're starting to get the mindset right. Like I clearly see, like you've been studying about it. All you have to do is just take that practical action steps. What we said, we're just going to reach out to 100 families per day, and we're at minimum going to land 2. We'll probably even land 5. Yeah. So if we do that every day for the next 30 days minimum, if you're audacious, say for the next 100 days, I'm going to do the 100 challenge. Even on weekends, I'm going to reach out to 100 families and land 2 people every single day without question.
It's cutting out. Hold on.
Yeah, did you get that?
Yeah, it froze for a second.
Yeah, this is why I record calls too, in case your connection's bad. You can review it later.
I got you.
Okay. So yeah, do you have any questions for me at this point?
So as of right now, so now in regards to utilizing the lucid dreaming, so how would you like how would you utilize that to overcome the blockages? Would you just think about the situation that you're going through in the lucid dream, and then afterwards, visualize yourself overcoming that obstacle, like creating the problem and then finding and like thinking about a solution that comes up and then solving the issue like that? Or how would that method of lucid dreaming be beneficial?
Yeah, so like it really comes down to recognition. The first step is understanding that you have the problem, right? You're
Mhm.
admitting you have a problem, and now that you know what the problem is, you went in your lucid dream, you like saw that trauma or that memory or that mental barrier of someone telling you something specifically like money doesn't grow on trees, or
Mhm.
money's the root of all evil. Whatever these like negative associations attached to money, what that were fed to you at a young age, that's usually what sticks in your subconscious.
Yeah, exactly.
And addressing that through lucid dreaming is the first step. You can also do it through long periods of meditation. Lucid dreaming is just easier because it's still, normally that time is just spent passively sleeping. So
Mhm.
so you have extra hours in the day from doing that.
Yeah.
So once you do that and you recognize it, you can get closure from the situation. You can even talk to your past self. Like it's just your subconscious memory. You're just like,
Mhm.
hey, you can achieve anything you want. You can earn this income.
Yeah.
Look at this beautiful setting we're now living in. Look at this, all these people we're helping. Look at all these material possessions if that's what you care
Yeah.
about. So that's where the lucid dreaming aspect comes into it. And that is an important aspect. It's important for mindset, it's important for setting habitual action steps. And when you wake up and you're ready to start the day, you no longer have these mental barriers and blocks. So you're
Mhm.
like, okay, I'm ready to hit it. I'm just going to hit this every day. And even on days you don't feel like it, you're like, no, I set myself a goal, I'm going to do it. This is forming a habit. It takes a minimum of 42 days to form a habit.
Mhm.
And I'm forming this as my new habit, my new belief system. And every day I'm reaching out to 100 families and helping at minimum 3 sign up, and I'm
Mhm.
giving value to everybody.
Yeah.
And you have that mindset, and you'll be making 60K within the next 1 to 3 months.
Mhm. That sounds solid.
Mhm.
And I do also like the concept of just like breaking things down into like very practical steps and very bite-sized steps. Because sometimes like we'll get caught up thinking that like you have to, like, you'll see a long staircase and you think that you have to jump to the top in one go, but it's like it doesn't happen that way. You have to, like, focus on that first step, move on to the next step. And it's just like you have to focus. Like, the only thing that people should be focused on, like one of my mentors told me this, Kevin Trudeau, is like you have to focus on the next logical step. That's really it. you know
Exactly.
and like
Yeah,
big goals, like, yeah, go ahead.
you can have these big audacious dreams and goals. But like even if you study like the most successful people who have the biggest goals, like currently that's would probably be Elon Musk with creating a Mars city, right?
Yeah.
So he doesn't just dream about Mars cities all day. He's like, what are the practical action items I need to do to create that future? So each day it's like, okay, first I need a new type of rocket. Okay, I'm working on that. Then I
Mhm.
need then I need to pay for that rocket. Okay, so now I'm working on that. Uh, I need to provide more value in internet to communities. Okay, so now I'm working on that. And you break it down systematically. Obviously, you don't have to
Mhm.
be at such a high level he's at, but like if you study how he gets things done and how successful people have always gotten things done, everybody from Steve Jobs, Albert Einstein, Nikola Tesla. Even Nikola Tesla was a huge proponent of lucid dreaming for inventions. And
I didn't know
if you see how they break down when they actually get stuff done, it's very systematic. It's like I have to do this and this today, and that's what I'm doing. And
that.
every
Yeah.
day, that small little amounts of effort and action build up to a big resource.
Hmm.
So, it's just think about how you're spending your day. How many hours a day are you spending on entertainment, television,
Yeah.
Netflix? How many days are you spending doing things that aren't productive and helping you towards your goal? It's that question. It's like, is what I'm
Yeah.
doing now getting me closer to my goal, further from my goal, or stagnant? And
Exactly.
if it's the last two, then just cut it out of your life.
Yeah.
You don't need it.
And that's one thing that I was looking at the other day too, was my screen time. And I was looking at my screen. This is something that everybody should be doing, is looking at their screen time, because then you'll be able to see where you're spending most of your time. Because the phone
Mhm.
is something that people have in their hands, 24/7. Like, they have it on them or they have it near them. It never leaves their side. So, with an object like that, you'll be able to see, like I said, where you're spending your time. And I realized that for myself, a lot of my time was spent on iMessages, iMessages and also Instagram. Those
Yeah.
were the two like top things right there. And I'm looking at the time and I'm like, all right, cool. At the end of the week, I'm spending about 14 hours, simply on Instagram. And that right there is like a part-time, like a very part-time job that that I'm spending on Instagram, like part of it is also like looking for different content to repost and like to build a brand up and everything like that. But for the most part, like the 80% of it is spent on just like getting caught in that cycle, getting caught in the feed, and just like
Mhm.
scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. And even if it's 30 minutes right here or 20 minutes right here, you're doing it every single day, that time adds up, So
Exactly.
that's one thing that I have been, conscious of, and correcting and trying to catch myself utilizing the 5-second rule. Like whenever I see myself picking up that phone, count down from 5 and then just, switch that action, go into something else. I got that one from Mel Robbins.
Yeah.
5-second rule, yeah. Mhm.
Okay,
But
great.
yeah, so there's also this book that I purchased by David Wilcock. I'm not sure if you know him, but he has like a show on Gaia. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that platform, but Gaia, he has like these different, he hosts like different shows where he talks about all these different spiritual things, spiritual experiences with other individuals who are pretty credible and like talk about their experience with these things. But there's this book that he wrote on, lucid dreaming and astral projection called Awakening in the Dream. This book right here. I'm not sure if you ever read this.
Mhm.
Have you?
No, I haven't read it before.
Okay, but yeah, he pretty much just brings you through a process, and like, first he talks about his experiences, and then afterwards brings you through a process of like how to induce somewhat of a lucid dream, or get into that state of astral projection when you do go to sleep. So that's
Mhm.
a book that I haven't like fully dived into yet. Like I've read the first couple of chapters, but I haven't fully dove into it. But I feel like it's along the lines of exactly what you're talking about, you know, in regards
Yeah,
to,
there's
the
like,
aspect of lucid dreaming. Yeah.
there's infinite approaches to do anything, right?
Mm,
Specifically what uh, I teach it because I've developed it over several years, and my goal was every person I help, I want to have 100% success rate and get lucid dreaming.
mm,
And I've been able to achieve that. And what I've learned is there's very specific action items and protocols that you can implement, and
mm,
there's a wide range of them. You can choose thousands of different things that would work.
yeah.
But at the end of the day, what ends up being the determining factor of success or failure, it's that daily consistent action. It's the minimum 10 to 30 minutes of those specific action items I list out, that if you do, you get results. And usually people, to do that, they have to have a, big financial commitment, a big financial goal that they're trying to achieve,
Mm,
because that will hold them to it. Because if it's just like a fleeting passion, it will go by the wayside. But
yeah.
if it's something that's very structured and you need this to reach your next level, then you're going to get it done, right?
Mhm. That's true. That is true. Like there's this quote that I read as well that speaks on what you're talking about. Um Tony Robbins, he has this quote where he said, "It's not what you do sometimes that changes your life. It's what you do all the time that has a direct influence on your life."
Mhm.
So I do agree with that 100%. And a lot of these things, they're good like confirmations. Like it reaffirms to me like some of the things that I had been aware of. But sometimes it's always nice to hear it from someone who also is grounded within that information, that could tell you like, all right, cool, like this is literally what it is. There's nothing really else outside of it. This is, you just have to take action on it. you know like you could acquire
Exactly.
all the knowledge, but then afterwards, if you're not taking any action on the knowledge, then it's pretty much like you don't even know the knowledge. To know and not to do is not to know.
Exactly.
So yeah. Mhm.
Great.
So
Oh
now,
yeah.
you said you've been doing lucid dreaming for several years, right?
Mhm. Yeah, I've been doing it personally since I was a kid, but I've been
uh,
teaching it for the past several years.
okay, what got you into it? Like, how did you first initially get into that?
Just kind of fell into it, honestly. Like, my parents are classical musicians, and they say
Okay.
if you do what you're passionate about, you never work a day in your life.
Mhm.
So it's like, what am I passionate about? And my brother was like, all you ever do is talk about lucid dreaming. Why don't you just teach people how to do that?
Mhm.
because I assumed it was something everybody already knew how to do.
Yeah,
So I was like, yeah, perfect. So
I
that's
like
kind of
that.
how it happened.
Nice, nice. Yeah. So now, has there been any like, how have you utilized lucid dreaming to like benefit your life? Like, what are some experiences that you've had?
Personally, I kind of use it how Nikola Tesla did. It's like originally I did it to overcome frequent nightmares
Hmm.
when I was a kid, and then more recently it was for invention ideas and building that up. Currently, I'm working on electric propulsion technology to one day replace rocket engines.
Nice.
So that's like the main utilization of that resource now, besides helping people on their own journeys.
Mhm.
So I put about 40 hours a week into each one right now.
Nice, nice. So now, how do you like, for example, let's say you want to invent something. How do you go about acquiring the information to start that project? You know, for example,
You read a lot of books and you watch a lot of documentaries.
okay, and
It's
then you
it's
just kind
like
of like
it's like
recall
your
that
own
information.
self-service college, right?
Uh,
You read a lot of books, study a lot of information, everything you can get your hands on. You absorb all that information, all that knowledge, and in your dream time, you work out new ideas, new for artists, you build up new art and unlock that creativity in your subconscious.
mhm. So now, is it easy? Is it easy to access that information, or does it take a lot of thought? Does it like when it comes to
It's I mean, it takes time to master lucid dreaming, but once you do, it's as easy as breathing.
okay, yeah, sounds good. It's
Cool.
definitely something that sparks my interest very deeply. So I'm definitely gonna. So now, for example, another question, like when it comes to lucid dreaming, like what are certain methods that you use to induce that state of lucid dreaming?
So, like I said, there's specific protocols you can do on a daily basis.
Hmm.
I teach a like 6 week intensive course of how to become a consistent lucid dreamer. Like
Hmm.
there's things like reality checks where throughout your day you check if your finger goes through your palm. If it doesn't, then you're not dreaming. But what that does, it sets up that habit in your mind. So when you're dreaming, you might accidentally do that. The more advanced stuff is just like recognizing everything around you on a consistent basis of like, the tactical physical sensations that can feel just as real in a dream too. So like just kind of studying like when you walk around, see people, it's like, I wonder what they're dreaming about,
Yeah.
and constantly reaffirming that new reality. And
Hmm.
then the most important thing is go to sleep at the same time every night, wake up the same time every day.
Hmm.
The more hours before midnight, the better. Our bodies are naturally supposed to go to sleep within an hour of sunset.
Hmm.
But due to blue light technology, our circadian rhythms all messed up, and that's why
Yeah.
people stay up later and later. So I say you don't have to go to bed at 8:30 every night. The earlier the better, but an hour before bed, avoid all blue light technology, all electronics, all smartphones, all televisions. Have that all off, all turned off, and then use that as you time for prepping for bed.
Okay. Okay. All right. Cool. That sounds good.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, man. Well, I appreciate, all the tidbits that you gave me in regards to, just like kind of like reminding me to break things down into very, like I said, bite-sized pieces and making it systematic,
Yeah,
and just like doing that over and over and over again, because through that it's gonna compound. It's gonna compound, which is gonna lead to those big results that I do want to attain. So that was pretty powerful. And like also too, just like getting a little bit more specific with why I want the 60,000. I kind of like broke down like all the expenses that I would be using it for, but then afterwards, I just never like I kind of like the other 30,000 that I was thinking about. I never really got specific with that half of things.
hmm,
So that's one thing that I'm going to be working on today. That's something I'm going to take action on today to get clear on that. Because one thing that I know is just that the more you bring, and also too, just like the more you bring your desired outcome, your desired reality through your five senses, the easier and the realer it's gonna get for you. So thinking about how it's gonna like how you're gonna think, how you're gonna feel, what you're gonna smell, what you're gonna see, what you're gonna hear, like all these things. So
you got it. Yeah, make it as real as possible, and in your waking world, despite external factors, believe that as your now reality. So you're going to be constantly met with objections to what your newfound reality is, because your subconscious mind is testing you, making sure you're ready for that next step. So if you keep believing in that vision and you walk through your day, despite external factors, you walk through your day how you are as that new person, you'll align with that reality. It's just physics.
Yeah. Have you ever watched What the Bleep Do We Know?
No.
Okay, I think you would love that right there. It breaks down all the quantum physics behind, our reality and thoughts, and just like this whole entire universe as a whole. So I think that that's something that you'd definitely enjoy.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Any more questions at this point?
Um, as of right now, not really. Not that I could think of right now. I think I've asked you a decent amount of questions so far.
Great.
Now, for example, you said you have a course. Your course, how does that work?
Yeah, I have an entry-level monthly membership to become a consistent lucid dreamer. It's just 97 a month. I found that's like the minimum of just enough skin in the game that people apply the work. And then if you want to work personally with me, like one-on-one of actually helping you get to 60K per month, that's 5K per month. So I would probably wait until you're at least at 10K per month before choosing that option. But you could probably get started with the course right now if that's what you wanted to do. If you do, just go to foreverlucid.com. I'll include a link after the call as well as a link to this video call, just to get started. And like I said, minimum put in 10 to 30 minutes per day, and that will accept your new reality as a consistent lucid dreamer. And then once you apply that time, and if you want more guidance and work with me specifically on reaching that specific 60K goal, and anything forward, just reach out again. We'll set up another call for that.
All right, sounds good, man.
All right, cool.
Sounds good. Well, I appreciate the time. Appreciate the conversation. It was great, getting to know you, getting to know what you do, and you giving me some tips and all of that. So it's definitely grateful. I definitely found it very beneficial.
I'm glad. That's the purpose of these calls. Just give as much value as I can.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man.
All right, you have a good day. Okay.
All right, take care, Ian.
Bye.
All right.